Hello! Today in my shed we are going to have a go at making Iron Age bread. So, to begin, I'm going to show you this bit first. Right, I hope you can hear me over the noise of the storm going on outside. But first things up, what they need to do in the Iron Age, first of all, is to turn their grains, so that could be their wheat or their barley, into flour. Now one of the earliest things they do is use a saddle stone like this. So, it's probably a bunch. I'm using just pearl barley from Morrison's. This is probably what they used maybe in the Stone Age, in the Bronze Age, but the Iron Age the technology's probably moved on some. But a saddle stone is basically a stone with a bit, maybe of a dip of it on the surface. Definitely some kind of flat area there. And you're going to get a rounded stone like this. You see this has already been worn because we've done this for a few years now in Advanced Art History. And you're going to grind the grains down between the two. Now in Iron Age they developed something called quern stones as well, which were two circular stones that lay on top of each other. This is how a kind of like windmill would have worked as well much later on. And the circular stones would rotate on top of each other. There'd be a slot in the top of the stone that would go on top, and you'd pour your grains in there, and as the stone spun round like this, it would grind these grains into powder, and the flour would kind of come out the outsides of the quern. Now that is quite labour intensive, which is why they made windmills for it much later on. But for us today, I don't have quern stones, so we're going to try a saddle stone. So I'm going to have a go at doing this, and see how quickly it takes us to, or how little time rather, it takes us to turn this into flour. So here we go. Now, it is quite a time consuming process. I'll show you the product as we kind of go on. I've put a little bit too many barley grains down for this to start, so they are kind of going all over the place. Now once you start to grind them down, if you use a kind of circular motion, I find that it kind of works a bit better. So go like this. Now you can see already, even after a couple of minutes, it's starting to grind them down like this. Okay, it's quite gritty flour obviously at first, so I need to keep doing this for another wee while, so I'm going to keep on doing that. Here goes. Now this is how the ancient Egyptians used to make bread. Now it had issues for them, because even though you do grind down your grains and turn them into flour, often if you use a softer stone, it's going to leave grit from the stone in your flour when you turn it into bread. And we know that was the case in ancient Egypt because the teeth of the mummies that they've unearthed and excavated from tombs have been ground down. And I guess if you're eating basically stone powder over the course of your life, it's going to grind your teeth down. So not great for the teeth. But then, as your life expectancy is so short, who knows it's going to really bother you that much, eh? So, let's keep going. I should say, why I'm doing this, if you, on your travels, manage to make it to the Loch Tay Crannog, the Iron Age, or kind of Bronze Age museum of life from that time they have on the shore next to it, you get to have a go at doing this. You also get to have a go at making fire with two sticks and kind of rub them together, and you can try a weaving loom, and you also get to use like a very old-fashioned lathe to carve wood sticks, which you could use to make chairs or primitive machinery as well. So it's all quite hands-on. It's quite cool. Now you can see as I'm going on, less of the grains are kind of firing out. It's because they're starting to get ground down. So in our Iron Age settlements, if they're using these type of stones to make bread, this is going to be the job possibly of the children who live in the settlement, or perhaps the women. Basically anyone who's not out hunting or doing something useful like making something. So it probably will be the kids that get this job. It's quite labour intensive, takes a lot of time. Probably isn't very exciting if you're doing it every day. You can see even after just a couple of minutes, it's starting to come along. Alright, so I'm grinding this down fairly well. And obviously to make enough flour to make bread, it's gonna take a long time. But I'm an amateur compared to what they would be like. Oh, it's getting much faster now, it's good. Yeah, have a look at that. So you can see still a few big grains in there, but it's kind of milling down. It's quite a coarse, it's like beach sandy texture to it just now, but a few more minutes and I'd have that milled down to a fairly fine powder. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes to do that, and then we will see what we're going to do with it. Okay, so in total it's maybe been about 8 minutes I've been doing this now, but you can see it's fairly fine stuff I've milled it down to. So if you see what it was like when we started, so I've taken my barley grains and I've milled them from this down to this quite coarse flour. Well, I guess it's kind of closer to like wholemeal flour. It's softer than kind of like processed porridge oats that you would get nowadays, but it's quite fine stuff. So this is how we would make the flour for Iron Age bread. Now obviously we're not going to use this because that would not be clean, so we're going to go and try it with proper flour inside next. Okay guys, here we are inside the nice warm toasty kitchen. I'm going to be using the BBC Good Food Easy White Bread recipe to do this. Now, when we did this in the past, I had the lovely home economics department to help me out with this one, and Mrs. Dort. Obviously we don't have that just now, and we would make what would be a wholemeal bread. Now, based on resources at the moment, obviously been a wee bit maybe tougher to come by, I think it's more straightforward to have a crack at white bread first, although the Iron Age bread would more realistically have been a wholemeal number. So I'm going to be using the Easy White Bread recipe from the BBC Good Food website, which you guys can find quite easily. And here are our ingredients. So this is what I got. Not much needed, right? You need 500 grams of strong white flour, plus some extra to dust the surface when we're making it. We're going to need 2 teaspoons of salt, not tablespoons. We're going to need a 7-gram sachet of fast action yeast. And we're going to need 3 tablespoons of olive oil. We, back in the day, they'd probably use butter as the oil. And we get 300 grams of water on the go as well. Now, there's an interesting aside. Obviously, in the Iron Age, we don't have the joy of Allinson's Easy Bake Yeast. So, how are we going to get it? So, our raisin agent. Now, a lot of bread makers use this nowadays. They make their own yeast. Yeast is apparently all in the air all around us, and to capture it, if you make up a paste of just flour with some water in it, stir this thing up. This is a wee bitty thick, so I'm going to add a wee squish more water. Stir it. Now if you have a wee empty jar like this, perfect. And you do this, you then put a wee lid, mostly all over the top of this, pop it up on the windowsill, and leave it. Now after a few days, this thing starts to bubble. That is the yeast that is starting to form the bacteria inside the solution you made of flour and water. As the days go by, you can feed it, you can add more flour, a bit more water, stir it up again, and the volume of yeast that you're going to grow is going to get bigger and bigger. And then when it comes to making bread, you take a portion of it and you add that to your bread mixture, leaving some behind, topping it up, and then you can continue on growing yeast for the next time you're going to make bread. Sounds a bit minging, but nice natural way to make the stuff, and you don't have to rely on this packet of stuff here. So pop that up on the windowsill now. Before we start making our bread, let's do a wee comparison. Now, hopefully you can see both of these. The one on the right hand side here is just plain white flour that you can buy from the shop in your bag of flour. Now it's quite fine, milled. really fine powder. You can see there. In comparison, this one is the one you just saw me make out in the shed. It's quite a powdery in form, just try to focus it there. You can see it's a wee bitty gritty. A bit chunkier than the other flour. But for having done that ourselves, that's pretty impressive stuff. Now this is probably closer to the consistency of a wholemeal flour. Unfortunately, I've not got that here just now to show you, but it shows you that it could be done, could be made. And not too difficult either. Okay, let's begin. Oh, exciting stuff. Right, here we go. I've got my 500 grams of flour in a lovely big bowl. And I've got to add my 2 tablespoons of salt, so I'll just sprinkle that in just now. And I'm going to add my sachet of yeast. So you can get these in the supermarket, in Morrison's. You'll also be able to get them in eco stores, health stores, that kind of thing in the town. Okay, right, we need to mix all that in together. Just get it with my hands and just flip around. Sorry if this keeps focusing and defocusing as I'm doing this. It's all a bit homemade, isn't it? So, next thing up, we need to make a well space in the centre of the bowl. We can add some fluid into it. Not all the way down to the bottom, but there we go. And we're going to add 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Making Roman bread, guys. And we are then going to add 300 mils of water in as well. So first of all, I'm going to add in the oil. Get as much out of that as I can. Add the water into the well space in the middle. This is 300 mils of water. I have to mix well. Now I'm not putting all the water in just now. I'm going to start mixing in first and I'll trickle in some more water as I'm mixing. This is to get us start making our dough. Here we go. For those of you who've had a go at making bread before, we're probably having a bit of titter. Oh, Mr. Darkins, look, he's doing all wrong. If you have experience for it, by all means, I'm looking forward to you guys sharing your examples of breads and what yours looks like. Good to see. This is way more fun than writing a research report, isn't it? Good times. So, we've got to work this up into the dough. And then we are gonna, once it's up into a big kind of ball of material, flip it out onto the work surface, and then we're going to start working it to stretch out the gluten. Now if your mix seems a bit dry, we have to add 1 to 2 tablespoons, just a wee dash of water just to loosen it up ever so slightly. Like that. Lovely. Okay, on the side, I'm going to flour the surface. You have to lightly flour the surface, so not buckets of flour. A bit. There you go, making a merry old mess. Lovely times. Right, and then let's do it. Sticky! Right. Need to knead it for around 10 minutes. That sounds like a montage time, doesn't it? Ooh. So, this is what it looks like after 10 minutes being pushed around. Now, I've cleaned out my baking bowl, and the instructions say that we have to put the bread dough into the bowl after it's been lightly oiled. So I'm going to use the last of the oil that didn't pour out when I put the mixture together, and just use that to oil up the bottom of the bowl a bit. Okay, so all oiled up, ready to go in. There you go. Here's my dough. Place it in. And we have to put cling film across the top of it. Oh, always rubbish this. Right, there we go. Yay! Wasn't too bad. So we need to leave this to rise for an hour until it doubles in size. Okay, next step up. Need to put some greaseproof paper onto a baking tray. And then we have to take the dough out. There we go. And we need to knock it back. Means we punch the air out the dough and pull it in on itself and then mould it into it. Okay, now we need to gently mould it into a ball. Place it onto the baking tray. Now we need to leave it for another hour to proof. Okay, so left it for an hour to proof. It's kind of flattened out, which possibly not ideal. The next step we've got to do is we're going to dust the loaf for some extra flour and cut across about 6 centimetres across into the top of it. Oh, actually, that's probably not enough, is it? Let's go for it. Now, once again, usually the lovely home ec department are here to help me with this. So Mr. Darkins going solo. Since we were last on, Mrs. Darkins has come in and she's had a good old titter at all the things I've done wrong. So it'll be interesting to see how your loaves work out compared to mine. So here we go, we're going to cut a 6 centimetre long cross into the top of the loaf with a sharp knife. Just allow it to expand out as it rises in the oven. There we go. Okay, and we've preheated the oven to, it does not look tidy, does it? We have preheated the oven to 220 degrees. And we're going to stick it in for 25 to 30 minutes until it gets golden brown and the bottom of the loaf will sound hollow when we tap it. So let's stick it in. There it goes. There we are. 25 minutes. Ooh. Oh, it's doing things. Right, that's been about 25 minutes, so let's open up and see if it's ready. Ooh. Smells amazing. Looks okay. Let's give it a go. Now, it's supposed to be able to tip it over and tap the bottom. If it sounds hollow, it's ready to go. Sounds hollow to me. Just leave it there. I'm going to leave it there for about 10 to 20 minutes to cool off before I cut it, just to let it kind of settle. It looks good. It could have risen a bit more, but as my first kind of go just by myself, pretty pleased. Let's see how it goes. Ooh, right, moment of truth. Let it sit for 20 minutes, let's see what it's like inside. It's not awful, it's a little bit heavy, but for a first attempt, it's not too bad. Iron Age bread. Best luck with yours.